Hey, it's Emily. We are back! Yay! We're gonna start over from the beginning. I am so incredibly sorry for the. Sorry, we have some background noise. I'll hold on just a little bit. Okay, we're back. So sorry, we are having technical issues and hopefully they are resolved. Thank you guys for being so incredibly patient. I'm going to start over from the beginning. So this is a live rewind, the joys of technical things. We had some issues with our internet connection and hopefully that has been resolved. We've been on the phone, we've been doing our best, but just know that if something else goes boinkers, we will do our best to resolve it very quickly. You guys are awesome. I love working with crafters, and just bear with us. We will have some fun. I know the class was supposed to start at 2. We are at 2:30, so we're going to go till 4:30, and if we need to go longer, we will. What I feel bad about is if you have somewhere you need to be, but just so you know, this will be on replay in your account, so you can go back and watch it if you get to the end and you're like, oh, I've got to be somewhere. So to get started, welcome. Let me know where you're watching from. I've been seeing your messages. Hi, Karen, all the way from Reno. Glenice, you said hooray, yay. It's a good day when technical problems disappear and we can go on crafting, right? So Jan, you said you can imagine how frustrated our team is. You know, our team does so incredibly well in the midst of anything that goes on. They really try to have their best attitude, and we were joking, asking one of our guys if he paid the internet bill this past month because he was on vacation. He assured us he did. So are you gals ready to get started? We sent out a PDF on Friday. If you missed that PDF in your email, one of you was kind enough to share it in the chat box. Thank you so much. But in that PDF, it showed all the cuts that I did to create this beautiful, beautiful album. So are you guys ready to kind of like dissect and dive into this and have some fun? Jade, you said you can see and hear everything. Yay! Barbara, you said you were up and running. I'm so glad that you guys are able to see it again. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started. Now, what I was saying from the very beginning is if you're new, if this is your very first time taking an online class, a class is pretty fast-paced, and especially if you're new and you don't have the little pictures cut out, or if you didn't follow the homework of the PDF, it can be a little bit challenging to follow along. So, or if you're doing it with the video. So what the top tip was from the first online class is the crafters said they just watched it with the video and then went back and did it with the replay. So you can do whichever you prefer. We're gonna have some fun, just relax. I find that if I just kind of chill out and follow along when I'm learning something new, instead of trying to feel like, oh, I need to like learn everything, we have it on replay for you, so that'll make that you don't have the stress of remembering everything. Flipfold albums are some of the ways that I love to preserve very special memories. I have beautiful albums in my house that really showcase like different vacations that we've been on. I have an album over here that is of a spoiled toy pooch birthday party. So we're gonna have some fun looking at that at the very end. So to get started, I was going to just like show you how I how I start cutting my papers. I'm not going to go into cutting all the papers in a paper pad, just to save you time. And but I will say all the measurements as we go through, and then you can always reference back to the PDF. So if you guys are just joining me, you can leave your comments in the chat box. This is interactive, this is live, this is your chance to get your questions answered. So as we go along, make sure you do that. So to get started, I just chose a random paper out of the Wild Witch Cottage paper collection. It's number 12 in this sheet. And when I start cutting for my albums, I like to cut all my inside base album sheets first to maximize how much I can get out of a paper pad. So these are going to be the largest sheets, and that's what I use the most. So what you're going to do is cut this to 6" by 8". Okay, let me see. Okay, so everybody's good. Can you guys leave a comment? Make sure everybody's good. You can hear and you can see. I'm just looking at the technical team right now, just to make sure everything is good. Looks like we are. Okay, so With this one, we have this piece cut. All your pages are going to be cut to 6 inches. Sorry, I see you because I couldn't see your comments for a second. That's why I was the one goofing up on that one. Okay, so it's going to be a fun afternoon. You guys get to see the hoopla that goes on behind the scenes. Okay, so this one I'm going to cut to 8 inches by 6 inches. That is the size to remember for all your base sheets for the album. So if you do one straight cut across the top and you split it into you cut it to 6 inches, you've got 2 sheets that you can use as base pieces. Isn't that super fun? It's easy. So you can do this technique with any paper pad that you may have. You don't have to just use the Wildwood Cottage. This is just an example. And then I go back and lay these little cut off pieces to the side and use these for the flip fold and all that good stuff. Okay, Kathy, you said you can see and hear. Asha, Emma, we would like to see you cutting. So did you just get to see the cutting that I just did there? Okay, so we did those 2 cuts. That is the cut that I did for all the base pieces. So we are going to switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and go into adding some things to the album. So we're going to be using Flipfold inserts B and D. If you were a participant in my first online live class at the end of June, we showed you how to add all the Flipfold inserts into 3 different albums. So you're going to be using the album where we added Flipfold inserts B and D. And for the first page in this album, we're going to be using this. If you flip your B, this is B as in boy, to the back, and you grab the 8.5 by 17 inch. That's the one we're going to add first. Now, for this album, I had added these 2 sheets when we were previously live. So this cover sheet, I had added, just glued that into the cover, and then this is one of the base sheets. But I'm going to add this insert on first. I would typically always add inserts first, but because we were live and then we restarted, some of those first sheets are decorated. So, okay, so I have just adding a little bit of glue to this inside tab. So there's a very narrow edge with a slight score line. And then what I'm going to do is just go ahead and bump this right up to the edge. Karen, or Katrina, you asked if you could purchase the previous class. Yes, you can purchase the previous class. It is, if you go to online classes, you can do that if you like. That class shows you how to add all your Flipfold inserts across 3 different albums. If you were in the previous class, you can give us a like or a comment how you liked it. Ladies really loved how easily, I'm just going to clip that real quick. Okay, so that will just dry a little bit. Clinice, you said all is good in Brisbane. You are quite a ways from home. What time is it in Brisbane right now? It's probably early, well, let me see, early in the morning. Okay, so I think I need to pop a little bit more glue in the center here because this is kind of like hanging open a little bit. So you don't have to worry about flipping and folding anything right now. Just make sure that everything is dry, all is glued. So if you're just joining me and you are like, how do I want to say, like you're trying to figure out like, how do I get started? I would just definitely watch with this time around with a live, ask your questions, and then go back with a replay and rewatch it again. So for this, we're going to go ahead and decorate this side next. This sheet again was cut to 8 inches tall. I mean, it's the same size as the previous one. And then it's a 1/2 inch shorter. So that would be 5.5 by 8 inches. So we're going to just glue that to the side. Now, if you did not do your homework and pre-cut your papers, that PDF will be so helpful in showing you exactly where you need to cut. It literally, like, you just open your paper pad and you start following the PDF from the front of the paper pad all the way to the back, and it tells you like where we're using it. So okay, Glenise, you said it's 4:30 a.m. in Brisbane. You got up early. You got up before breakfast. Okay. Donna, you said the first class relieved you of all your fears of the inserts. Yes, definitely. If you haven't done inserts before, that is a great way to just get started with those. So this is the next pieces that we're going to add. This one is, I have little measurements in the back as a cheat sheet for me. It's 4 3/4 by 8 inches. You see these little birdies? Those are so adorable. We're going to add those next. So when I am measuring, like if you're at home alone and you don't have measurements for a flip fold insert, what I will literally do is I'll take my ruler. I'll just measure from score line to score line. This says 5 inches, so I'll go a 1/4 inch shorter. And then I'll measure it from this direction. And then I calculate how many sides there are. So for this one, I would cut 2 sides. This one I'd cut 2 sides, and for this side I'd do 2. So typically you're doing 2 as well. So we're going to go ahead and glue this. Another tip, I typically like to sponge around the edges of my papers. So we're going to go ahead and glue this in. Isn't that pretty sweet? Like, it's so fun how quickly you can start adding them. So I decorate my base pages first, and then I go into decorating the insert. I'm going to just move, this is kind of sprouting wings and going a little bit further. Jacqueline, you said you're so happy that you can refer back to online classes. Yes, that is a priceless resource that you can go back and refer to over and over again. This piece that I'm using is cut 2.5 inches by 8 inches. And the cool thing is you guys have this PDF, and that is like your little cheat sheet that you can reuse over and over and over for any style of album that you want. You can follow those measurements. It's really a very valuable piece of information that you have. Cassie, one of the gals in-house, she created that one, and she did such an amazing job with it. So what we're doing right now is we're going ahead and decorating this piece. And do you see on the inside here, I have this little pocket on the side. Now this is totally optional, but I'm going to add that next, and we're going to wrap it around so you can, we have we're making 2 duplicate books here. So for this last, I want to make sure that you guys can see this. We're just going to fold this over. You see that? And we're going to make this into a pocket so you can slide little journaling blocks into that. So you see how we're just going to go ahead, and this piece is a little bit longer. This piece was cut 1 3/4 inches by 9.5 inches. So all you need to do is just add a little bit of glue around the outer edges. If you do not have the dry clear glue, this is an absolute must-have to glue these albums. I have some ladies that will ask, hey, can I use like a dry adhesive? And you can, just make sure it's a good quality so that your album doesn't fall apart. I had one lady that said, hey, she used some dry adhesive and she was so disappointed because it fell apart. So this is the pocket, so it folds in, so it's folding towards your left. Lynn, you said, is there a time limit to watch the videos? It just remains in your personal classes file, so you can just rewatch them as many times as you like. So then I'll kind of close this, and I'll just put a little bit of glue on the top. This is your secret to creating some quick pockets for your little flips and folds. So you just wrap that around the back. Just hold it for a little bit. Did you find that was pretty easy? So that just like makes a very, very fast pocket. And just make sure you always make your pockets first before you like decorate this opposite side. Otherwise you'll be super disappointed and you'll have to rip off some paper. So that makes that this side is completely decorated and you've got that little pocket from the side. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. So if you go ahead and you have this piece all decorated, and I think mine is dry here, so we'll just take those little clips off. And we're going to decorate these 2 sides right here. Sorry, there's a little bit of a glare there. We're going to decorate this one and these 2. Glenise, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but you said you thought the PDF was well written. Awesome. I will relay that to Cassie. If any of you need the PDF, that was in the comments a little bit further up, or we had sent an email to you as well. So this was the same size measurement as the one that we just glued down on the opposite side. So you can very quickly and easily glue these together. Okay, so for this sheet, this was cut the same size as the sheet of the little birdies on this side. So we're going to do the exact same type of paper on the back. Okay, so we'll go ahead and glue this one down. Okay. So once that is glued down, all you have to do is just take this outer piece, flip it in, then you flip it in again, and it closes like a book. So you literally just created like another page. Isn't that amazing? Jackie, you said you love having written files so you can make notes, and the PDF is great. Thank you so much for that feedback. That's very helpful as we continue to produce online classes and what you love, what's helpful. You guys are so awesome. So that is your very first page decorated. With this one, the next step is just adding some little embellishments. I'm going to do a little bit of die cutting with some borders. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I want to show you one thing real quick. For this page, here's your front cover. This is the left. No, sorry. This is the left. This is the right of your front page. First page, we're going to create like a little border. So anytime you do this, base piece is 3/4 inches by 8 inches. And this piece is 1/2 inch by 8 inches. What I do is I just add a little bit of glue on the top, glue these two together, and what you're doing is you're creating like a little belly band to slide in some photos. Isn't that awesome? And then just add a little bit of glue on the top here and here, and we're going to add that to this side. And you instantly have a little slider for photos. You like that little technique? Oh, yay. Okay, so with this one, I have added some little embellishments. So over here, I just did some cutting on my own with white cardstock and some dies. I cut the little fairy as an embellishment with the coordinating little darlings die. And I created this little card on the side. So I'm going to show you a little bit of die cutting techniques. Is the die cutting techniques helpful for you? So this is like a little card that you can do hidden journaling. You can also do like, let me see, you could do photos on the inside and all that fun stuff. So we are going to go ahead and show you some of those die cutting techniques. So I'm going to lay this one to the side and bring this in. Okay, so we're going to bring in the die cutting machine for just a hot second and show you some techniques with that. Okay, so for this one, I had to cut this piece. I took just a regular white piece of cardstock, and on your PDF it shows you the size to cut this. I used 2 of my Cut Mat Create 1B dies in the center. You could use squares, you could use whichever you prefer. But then I used the Border Essential dies on opposite sides. So we're going to run that through. We're going to cut that out. We're going to do multiple cuts at one time. So that's going through. And then I also have this die. This die is a really beautiful border die. I'll show you in just a second which die it comes from. But we're going to just tape that one out the front. And I like to make sure this is going through lengthwise so that it cuts out very beautifully. So we're going to go through and pop this through the other side. Okay. Glenna, you asked where you can find the PDF. We sent an email out on Friday with that information. Or if you scroll back through the comments after the class, there is also a link in the comments too. Or Tracy, she is helping monitor the comments. She can pop it back into there as well for you. So we have got that all cut out. And you'll just peel this away. So you'll see how easy it is to create very pretty borders. I'm going to hold that against the white background so you can see that. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. There, Katrina, you just shared the link. Thank you so much. And then we have this all cut out for you as well. We have all sorts of, so this creates a quick like little photo collage for you. I love doing this type of stuff for my albums. Isn't that awesome? Leanne, you said you're so excited to get started. Hey, Leanne, it's great to see you on here. How are you, my friend? Okay, I'm going to lay these aside, and we are going to add these to the album. So for this one, you can go ahead and sponge. I added this to the inside of my album, but when I added it, I didn't have a photo yet, so I just glued down the edges so that you can easily slide a photo in if you would like to do that. Or you could do like little journaling blocks. And I just added that at an angle. Something like that. Okay, and then we're gonna go back, and this little girl, this was cut out from the paper with the Wildwood Cottage Darlings. Isn't that adorable? So you don't have to color her. You could like shape her a little bit if you wanted to, but just add a little bit of glue to her. So you can add some quick, and I added her on top of the little fairy that's in the background. So I just added her right on top. Okay, so once you're finished with that, to create the little card that I had been showing that you can use for a pocket journaling, all you need to do is just take an A2 size card, just add some glue on the top, and you can add this piece. This piece had been cut to 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches before I had die cut it. So that just gives you a nice little border like that. And then I added this piece on top. I had just cut out the oval from the center with a nestability die would work great. And I just glued down the side so you can slide in a photo in the middle. And then you can decorate these with little sentiments or however you like. So I'm just going to put this little tag, always and forever, on the side. And you've got that going. Okay. There we go. Isn't that awesome? Margaret, you said you love the little film strip idea. Isn't that cute? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just pop that into, it's the first page on the right-hand side. And you've got that decorated very quickly, and all it needs now is your photos. How fun is that? Okay, so we have that side done. We're going to go move to page number 2. Now, as I say, we're going to move to page number 2, but we still haven't decorated the back of this one, so we are going to decorate that one in just a little bit as well. So page number 2, if you flip over, you'll have it looking like this, and we have this crazy flip fold, flipping and folding out here. Doesn't that look a little bit crazy? So I'm going to point out which insert was used here first, so that if you weren't in the previous class, you know which one this is. So when you look at this one, this was hinged in. I'm just going to hold it here for just a hot second. There's that little tail that goes up on the top, but the longer end of the tail is on the bottom. So that is really how you kind of like reference to this one. The long tail is in the bottom. And when you look at this one attaching it, there's a small, narrow hinge that's like about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch, that I hinged from the back here. So if you were in the last class, you definitely learned how to add that one in there, and it's attached the exact same way I did this first one. And that is using this flip fold. If you are using your Flipfold D as in dog, it's the first insert. You're holding on the back on the right hand side. It's this one on the right that says it measures 10 3/4 by 24 inches. So with that one, there's a very narrow little hinge on the very left-hand side. Otherwise, everything is straight. That is where you will attach that to your second page on the right-hand side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the papers for page number 2 and for the last part of the insert on the first page that we just did. Hey Karen, you said you missed being able to talk to me, but looking forward to covering your albums. Yay! Are you guys doing it with the video, or are you guys watching it and doing it as a replay? Okay. So for number 2, so you have this little guy. This is your insert that you're going to add, and you'll attach it right here on this little insert right on the side, and you'll just add that in. So once that's added in, you're going to go ahead and start decorating. To decorate this piece, we're on the back of the insert when it's all closed that we added first. We're going to decorate that one first. I'm just going to add this sheet. This sheet was cut to 5 3/4 by 8 inches. So we're going to go ahead and just add that one down. Boom, you've got your little birdies singing in the corner. Hey Jackie, you're awesome. You said I'm a trooper. Sorry about the problems. Hey, you know what? That's what happens in real life, right? You guys are so awesome. You are like grinning and bearing with me. I'm sure it has been frustrating on you guys' end too, and I'm so sorry about that. But hey, we're gonna just have some fun and do this while crafting. You know, crafting is so relaxing. It's like therapy, and I find that once you know the techniques and you can just sit down, have some fun, it just makes it so rewarding when you make something beautiful like this. I just had one of the gals in my class kit department that prepares a lot of the class kits. She had never done a Flipfold album, but she has cut out a lot of the kits. And she just came into the break room yesterday and she said, Emmylou, look at what I made. She had taken an album. She had made everything from start to finish. She added some wedding photos of her husband's daughter. It turned out absolutely brilliant. It's so pretty, and it did my heart good to see what she created. So, so that was fun. That was Pollyanna. Okay, Patricia, you said you're watching and having some fun that way. With this one on page number 2, you'll see that we have created a little corner pocket. Do you like that, like interactive pockets on the side? With that, with the pocket, I go ahead and clipped off a corner. I call it, I kind of chewed off the corner of my page. So we're going to go ahead and use the die. This die is from Floor Border Basics. This is an amazing die to create with. Actually, the die I first ran through, I said I'm going to show that to you and I forgot. Delicate Border Basics is the die I had first run through. So with this one, you can position this however you want. I just kind of went in between the little girlies so I don't chop any of them off. But we're going to run that through the machine. So I'm just going to pop that into my plate. And my die is sticking out the edge a little bit. You know what? Let's see. I need a wider, okay, let's just reposition the die. We can always reposition the die. So mine, this is going to be a little bit different cut than my original, which is cool. It just gives us a little bit bigger pocket and corner. So let me bring this up so you can see that a little bit better. There you go. So you'll see how I just angled it. So if you don't have a machine that's wider than 6 inches, you can still do this. Yay. Okay, so we'll run that through. Oops, I had my plates not even in the front. My machine does not like when I don't have them even in the front. Back it up. Okay, it's being a little bit picky. Okay. Oh, I was pushing my plates too far forward. Okay, here we go. Let's flip this around. It's not liking that I have the little hooks in the front like that. It doesn't like that. So we'll put it in the other way and feed the sandwich the correct way, the way that it likes it. Okay, it's not liking that either. Okay. Huh. That is so interesting. We're having all sorts of technical difficulties today. Let's flip it around. Okay. If it doesn't go this time, we may just like let it rest a little bit and try again. It's not going. So I will have that, lay that aside a little bit, and I'll check back with that in a little bit because I have some more dies I want to run through and show you. Okay, so what you'll do is once you run that die through, you're going to have a little piece that's chewed out like that. So once you have that piece cut, I took my die and I added this little layer. Isn't that cute? Love that. Okay, so I'm going to try again with the die and just see if I can get that to like cut. Okay, so okay, that is not working. Okay. Jade, you said that is why I still use my Big Shot. You know, it's funny. I have been using this machine for a really long time. And, okay, well, it is complaining. And we will just leave it. Okay, so when I ran this die through, what I did is I took these two pieces. Hopefully you guys will. Margaret, you said your grace under pressure. It's all good. This is live. This is what's fun about live. You see what happens just behind the scenes, so we're going to have some fun with that. So we're using this die right here. It's this piece and this straight blade. And when you run it through, you can go ahead and just cut yourself a piece of cardstock, and you can cut it out long, and then you can go ahead and just trim it. So I'm going to just add a little bit of glue to the back. I have some magic hands where help is on the way. I'm going to troubleshoot it a little bit, see what, okay, they fixed it. I'm not sure what was going on with it. I'm probably having a little bit of a, I don't know if I should say this, but a blonde moment. So this is glued on this side. And then I had originally cut this sheet to 6 by 8 inches. And we'll just glue that all the way around. And add that to your base. So this is the second page on the left-hand side. Glue that down. If I can get my die cutting machine to work again, would you guys like to see those dies cut out? Just give me a yes or a no, and then we'll go from there. If we get conflicting feedback, we'll see what the majority votes. So I just put a line of glue in the bottom corners, and we'll pop that right up to the edge, and that little corner we had chewed out fits perfectly. It's made to be together. I slopped my glue a little bit on the edge, but that's okay. It dries clear, so you'll never see it. So that will create that little pocket that you can slide your little fun things into the corner. Is that cute? Some of you said yes. Okay, we will do that in just a little bit. I'm going to flip this piece over, and we're going to decorate this as next. So you remember how from the very beginning I cut those sheets apart to 6 inches by 8 inches. So this was one 12 by 12, and it just makes a continuous scene. So it really helps take out the guesswork for you, and you don't really have to worry about how to align and position a lot of the papers. Like it kind of does and tells the story for you. Okay, so just glue that in. Isn't that pretty easy? Now, our next step is decorating this little guy. Does this little guy look a little bit intimidating? Deborah, you said which album is this one? We are decorating the album where we added inserts B and D. If you took the first class, if that's what you're asking from, that's where we took this one. So when you're cutting for something that looks as crazy as this, here's a secret, most of these pieces are the same size. So you're going to be able to, how do I want to say it, like cut multiples at the same time. So we're going to open this up, and we are going to decorate everything on this side, and then we're going to flip it over and decorate on the other side. Okay, so with this one, when you open it, I'm going to open up my original one so I make sure I place, sorry I put my head in the camera there. So I place everything exactly how it was in the original so I don't mess you up. Okay, so Marcy, you said, will we be posting a PDF of paper cuts for the other flip folds? Do you think we should do that? Based on requests and feedback is what we do. So if you guys would like to have that happen, just pop us an email and we will see what we can do. Okay, so to get started, we are going to, the very first piece here in the center that is attached to the album, we're going to put this little piece, and this piece was cut 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and there are 3 other pieces that are cut the same size. So you're making 3 pieces, sorry, it's 4 pieces all together. Okay. Mary, you said you would love it with the wedding papers. The wedding collection that we did would be absolutely stunning with this. And the great thing is, this is one way to put it together, but if you use the same inserts, you can follow the same cutting directions and easily recreate this album in a PDF. Okay, so here is this one in the center. Now this one at the top is looks a little bit scary when you're doing this, but you're going to be using these little birdies. But with the way this flips and folds, this one's cut to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. But with the way this one folds, you're actually going to glue it down upside down. Glue it down upside down. I kind of said that. It sounded funny. Maybe I'm just amusing myself. Okay, so that one's getting glued upside down. The reason for that is when it gets flipped, it's going the right direction. So just hold on with me. Carrie, you said do the paper pads have the same layout? A lot of the paper pads have a similar layout that you can cut the designs from, so it makes it very easy for you. The next piece I will be adding is this little girl, and when you add her, she will be going upside down as well, so she's going to be standing on her head for just a little bit. But, oh, I forgot about this. Hang on a second. Before we do that, we need to add magnets. You don't want to forget magnets. You don't want to glue down your paper before you add your magnets. I had been showing magnets in my previous class, but I ripped them off because I wanted to show you guys where they add. So we are going to add a magnet to this piece, and we're going to add a magnet to this piece. Now, I completely forgot to tell you this, but before you do any decorating on a flip fold, if you want to have a magnet, you need to fold up your flip fold and add magnets first before you start to add your papers. So for this one, when you fold this one gets pulled back in, and you can fold this different directions. We'll open and close this a couple more times, so don't freak out if you can't see it right away, but this one comes down from the top like that. And then these from the bottom just get folded up. So down from the top, up. And then you close this so you can see I want a magnet on this side and I want a magnet on this side. So that's your first place. So I'm just going to add an area of glue there. Is that helpful to see magnets? Yes, I totally spaced on that, but yes, magnets are a must, Sandra. And before, sometimes if I'm just like this is drying, you can put a piece of tape over that so that it doesn't move, and it really makes it nice for you. So I'm going to take a Scotch tape. This you don't have to do if you're not decorating right away, but if you're decorating right away, I like to do that just so it doesn't move around. And I had that, a gal in one of my previous classes suggested that. So it just holds it into place. Then we'll get another magnet and we'll just pop that one right on top. He knows exactly where he's supposed to go. And just put that, and then you'll close this, open it back up again. That makes a mark on the other side. And we'll peel this magnet off. And just pop him over there. And that shows you exactly where that magnet's going to go. Easy peasy. Okay, so we're going to go back to decorating. We're ready to decorate again. Okay, so now, oops, that one popped off. He popped off because we didn't secure him with tape. So let's add some tape to him. You could use whichever tape you wanted to. Okay. So, we're going to go back, open this up, and continue to decorate. So if you do forget to add magnets, you can always just add another layer of paper on top. That's what I've done if I forget. So you're seeing just real life what I forget to do at times when I'm just crafting at home and I'm like, oh no, what do I do? So this little girl's going to go upside down. So I always like to double check and see where how my flips and folds are going, so I make sure I have it uploaded. Okay, so, and then we are going to add this little piece. Let me see, this is the one with all the little lines. And these little birdies are going to be going upside down as well. This piece is cut to 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. So this is the piece that we're using for the very bottom. Okay, there we go. Actually, shoot, you need to do this one upside down. There we go. Birdies are flitting upside down. Okay, so we have one more section. That's this one over here. And this piece, we are going to be using a diamond piece. We have 2 diamonds cut out. They're 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and add some glue to that. Sharon, you asked which page am I working on? I am working on page 2 on the right-hand side, and we're decorating Flipfold D. Is that helpful? Karen, you said this is so helpful. Otherwise, you would have you'd have the glue upside down and you'd have thought it was a mistake, right? Okay, so I have the pieces that just flew down. Okay, here we go. We are back in action. So we have this side all decorated, and I'm going to show you what, for this in the finished album that I have here, there's a couple more things I add to this, but we'll add that at the very end. And that's how these 2 pages, so they're ready for photos or whatever you prefer. And then we're just going to flip this over, and we're going to decorate the opposite side. So that gets flipped in towards the inside page. You'll notice that we're going to do some pockets on the sides and on the bottom. Okay. So with these, there's different ways you can create these pockets. Like this one I had already glued down. If you can glue it down, if you don't want to wrap your paper around the edges because you have it decorated on the opposite side, you can do that however you prefer. Okay, so Laura, you said you got the time wrong. You're on Mountain Time. This will be added to your account, so you can go to your class section and rewatch it at any time. So if you're jumping in, welcome. This piece is the diamond piece that is going to go on the inside. It's the little fold out on the furthest to the left. Oh man, I hope I'm getting all my lefts and rights. When I went to school, that was something that was super challenging for me, is learning my lefts and rights. So I have to think of which hand I used to eat with. Is that funny? Does anybody else struggle with that? So for these pockets on this one, I'm going to show you another option, how you can create the pockets. You can just add a seam of glue, and then you can just close it. You can add little clips to like hold that in place if you like. So there's a couple options with those. So Glenn, you said you're curious as to why 2 pieces were glued upside down. You'll see in just a little bit. When you're gluing them right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but once they're folded together, I'll show you. Those will come right back up again. So the diamond piece covered the magnet. Yes, you are correct, Ruby. So that just covered the magnet and locked that into place. So this piece right here is 1 3/4 inches wide. I cut it a little bit longer, so if you wanted to wrap it around the back for the pocket, you could do that. I'm going to unclip this again. Just going to place this on top. And since I'm not wrapping it around the back, I am going to use my scissors and just snip this off. And you can, but you could wrap it around the back if you wanted to, if you wouldn't have decorated the other side. It's totally up to you. So I wanted to show you 2 different ways that you can decorate those pockets. So you've got a pocket on that side. Yes, the upside down fairy covered the other magnet on this side. So you have the magnet behind the little fairy and behind the diamond piece on this one. Okay, so Billy, you said you're an expert at gluing things upside down. I know, typically you're like, I can't glue it upside down. Which side is right side up? Now we're going to glue the one in the center here. This one's cut to 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. But I totally get that. It's always like you're taught, don't glue anything upside down. So when you do it, you really feel like you're doing something wrong. So this is left, and then here's the center. Linda, you said you're from Southwest Missouri. You're a little late, but at least you get to see a little. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to go to the bottom. For the bottom, we're going to grab this little butterfly panel. And if you, at any chance, wanted to, you could cover the center of this oval with like a photo. Do you guys have some themes of photos or occasions that you're going to use for your Flipfold albums. Okay, and then the bottom one is this little piece right in here. The bottom, the section is already glued. So when you have that, you'll just want to make sure that it slides in. If it doesn't, I'll just trim it off a little bit more. I'm just going to rough edge trim this, but I typically would use my paper trimmer. We'll see how straight it is. Most of it will be hidden, or some of it will be hidden behind the pocket, not all of it. Okay, so we're going to slide that behind the pocket in here. So it's totally up to you. I always like to slide in my papers before I glue. I had been showing something else earlier with this one, so that makes it a little bit trickier if you glue it in last. So this is maybe what you should not do. But if you just glue this in first and then glue at the pocket, that will be a lot more easy for you. Then add some glue above the pocket to decorate that. And we are using, you should have 2 strips that are cut like this. They are 1 3/8 by 5 inches. They will extend around the edges, so you can trim it off since we're not wrapping these pockets around. So as you can see, there's a couple different ways you can do your pockets. Use this for a straight edge cut over here. So what do you think? Is this a little bit easier to decorate than you thought? It's fun to see it all start coming together. Then we're going to take this little fairy. Do you guys like the little fairies from the Wildwood Cottage collection? They are so stinking cute. This one is cut to 3 3/4 by 4.5 inches. And if you're just joining me, there is a PDF that we sent out that shows you from start to finish how to cut each sheet one at a time. And then it shows you which page they're going on, page 1, 2, 3, or 4. Oops, don't glue the top. That will glue your pocket shut. So just make sure you glue down the sides, not the top. Okay, so we'll do that. Carrie, you said it's easier because you're doing it. You know, like the first time when you're doing something new, like if you just like follow along, you watch it, then you go back with a replay. Anytime you do something new, it's harder. It's like, man, like what am I learning? It's like, can I do this? But I always remind myself, it's kind of like learning how to tie your shoe when you were a kid. I remember I was standing beside a bathtub in a little apartment we were renting in Arizona when we were down there on vacation during Christmas, and I was trying to learn how to tie my shoe, and I was like, I don't think I will ever learn how to tie my shoe. And I just tried and tried and tried and tried, and finally I did it. I was so proud. So I always remind myself of that. So today I do it without thinking. Okay, so we have everything covered. We have everything decorated. Now, are we ready to fold it together? So let's do this together. So we have this Flipfold all decorated. We've got some fairies and birds that have a headache by now. What we're going to do is we're just going to close this. The little fairy comes down from the top, and you see those birdies are now going right side up. They look like they were backwards on the other side. And then you're going to take this flap and fold it up, and those little birdies are going right side up. Isn't that fun? And then we'll bring this up, and you've got your little fairies, and then this closes. Isn't that awesome? One of you gals just asked, oh, Margaret, you just asked, has your mom designed the paper collections? She works with Angelica. She's a fabulous designer out of California. They tag team together. Angelica designs the papers. My mom does a lot of the sketches, kind of layouts, and then Angelica does her creativity and makes all the magic happen with it. With this one, to decorate this outside piece, what I did is I took this little corner piece. This, ooh, let's see if we can see this a little bit better. You see that little corner? There we go. That is from the Fleur Borders and Pockets set. This is a brilliant set that I use all the time to create corner pockets in my Flipfold albums. So all you do with this one is just go ahead and add that little corner, and then you have, excuse me, a little pocket. I added a little tag in here. You see that? How cute! Cute, cute, cute. Okay, You know, it doesn't matter how many times I have created something or how many Flipfold albums I've done. There's just something so exciting about creating something beautiful like this. So we are all finished with page number 2. Now, we were having some issues cutting the die, so I'm going to, I think that has been resolved. So I'm going to go back and see, oh, I forgot one thing. You remember this page up here where we, and page 1 on the right, this flip fold that comes out? There's a border, this little border right here. Your PDF has it to make cuts. I glue these together, and we're going to do a decorative piece up here yet. I forgot about that when I was having die cutting machine. Okay, so and then we're going to glue that to the bottom here. This strip, the base piece is cut 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I just had the strip go right between the little birdies. The strip's kind of touching the belly of the one little birdie, and then you can pop this piece in here if you like. You can add this little girl on a stump. Little girl on the stump on the side. You can kind of pop her on the little belly band there. And we have that. Then I had a border that I glued that went just around the top. So we're going to cut that border out. Everybody game for cutting out some borders? So that border, let me pull up the die set for that one first. Is the pace good? Does it feel like I'm going too fast? Are you guys good on the pace? So this border, let me see. It is in, is it this set? Do I have the right? Yes. Here we go. So this is a right and a left, so you can marry them together and make a double border so you get so much use out of it. So we're going to run that through. Let me bring up my plates. And we'll do this again. I think you gals get the gist of how this one was cut out, so I'm going to lay that one to the side, and we're going to do 2 decorative cuts. This was a cut from an earlier one, doing a straight edge border, and this will run these 2 together at the same time. And cut these out. I want to just show you real quickly how easy it is. Hopefully this works again and doesn't give me any problemos. I had some magic hands. I have no idea what they did, but they did something that just made it work perfectly. Oh, you know, I think I know what it was. I had the other side, the gate closed. Is that what I did? Yeah. They're shaking their heads, yeah. So it was a blonde moment. It was a user malfunction. It wasn't a machine malfunction. Okay, so we've got these cut out. And see how pretty this is? I like to use the Spellbinder's like little scrubby tool. I call it a scrubby tool. But it is a tool-in-one. I do not have one up here, I don't think. Oh, here it is. I use that over a black flower shaping mat. Let me show you that real quick. So you can see how to easily get those die cuts out of there. I actually do it on the wrong side of the die. And you can just like scrub. It's kind of like cleaning your dishes. Have you guys tried this before? There you go. And just so you guys know, if you have like, if some of you say, hey, I can't keep up, the thing of it is like if you have these, like if you're doing it for the first time, like this is definitely more fast-paced, so I would definitely recommend like just kind of watch along, do what you can, and then go back and rewatch and fill it in. So that is how you cut out that border die. And here is the other one that we used for that little cute corner. Just kind of clean out the inside pieces there. That's the little border that we used for this pocket. It makes life so much easier, Paulette. I love that. That's so good. Okay, so we are going to switch gears and go to page number 3. Tell me, what has been your favorite technique so far? I love to hear what you are learning. I am going to just close up this, this little piece, and we will get started with the third one. Oh, I love this third page. It's so fun. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Don't you just want to live here? We're going to start by decorating the base pages again. As you can see, this was one full 12 by 12 sheet. Just cut it 8 inches at the top, split it 6 inches at the middle, and you've got a complete scene that just continues. Isn't that fun? Laura, you said you love the pause button while rewatching. That is so good because, like, if something's going wrong and you're not understanding something, you can just be like, hey, hold on, rewind. What did you say? So good. Okay, so to get started on this page, we have one flip fold insert again on the right. This is page 3 on the right hand side, and that insert just comes out of the side. This is from inserts B. This one has, we'll just flip this over so you can see that. We are using Flipfold inserts B, and it's the first one on the left hand side. It's a 6 1/4 by 15 1/2 inches. And for this one, you'll see that there's a pretty large 6 by 6 fold at the very top here. That one, I just made my own hinge. So I hinged that in just like we did that first, just from the back there. I just kind of made my own hinge, wrapped it around. So that folds onto page number 3. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with decorating the back. Now, you'll see this magnet. I have a magnet in here. So the way I determined where I was going to do a magnet is I wanted this top flap to stay closed. So I glued the magnet first in here, and then I held it closed, and I took this, I opened it, and I popped a magnet back here, added glue to it, and closed it. That makes that it's all the way closed to this back piece. So when you like close that, so it's doing the same technique we did on the other one. Does that make sense? Okay, so add the magnet on the inside flap, just glue that down, and then make it kind of like automatically attaches back here. It pops into place here. Take that, add some glue, and then just close it in that position. This is already glued down, it's all dry. So we're not doing 3 magnets, just 2. So, okay, so to get started decorating this one, we're going to do the base pages first. And let me just pull mine out. So 6 by 8 inches is the magic number on these. Okay, so we have a little house that is going on the left-hand side. Okay, so we're going to add some glue. I typically just do like a little line around the outside edges, just a little bit in the center. If you don't have this glue, when you're doing an album, I go through a lot. I'm like, we have bigger refill bottles too. I forget to mention that. So go through a lot. Make sure you get a refill bottle. That saves you some money, and it's very good. When you run out, you have an extra refill. Then we'll go ahead and glue this right to the side. So this is on page 3 on the right. This one is a pretty easy page, so if you like to keep things simple, I just add some decorative, like you could add a decorative border at the top. You could add a 5 by 7, 4 by 6 photo in here. But then on this side, for decorating, I kept it very simple as well. So for this one, I took the little birdie panel. We're going to decorate this side first. We already have all of our magnets down, so we're ready to decorate. Now, can you guys guess, like if you'd be doing this at home, you weren't sure how to cut, you would just take out your ruler, measure this side from side to side, and then take it times 2. These 2 panels are the same, so you would be cutting 4, and then 2 on this side. So with this one, you got the little birdies. You could cut the circle out the center, add a photo if you wanted to. So we'll add that this side. And then I have multiples, different, you could use whichever papers you wanted in this side, it doesn't really matter, but these are all cut to 3 1/4 by 6 inches. So that's a pretty easy size to remember. So we've got that, and then we have another one that is before we add this one. I'm going to do another pocket so you can see that. This is cut to 2 inches by 7 1/4. So I'm just going to add some glue. This pocket is folded to the back, the opposite direction. We're just going to wrap this around and decorate this. So this is doing the pocket the way we did the first one. And then we'll just wrap that around. So just experiment. Tell me which way you find is easiest for the pockets. Just kind of hold that down. I've taught this many times in class. Some ladies like it one way, others like it the other way. So you can kind of see what works best for you. And then I'll take this one. This is another panel that's cut 3 1/4 by 6 inches. So for those of you watching, is there anybody that has never decorated a Flipfold album before? Like if this is your first time, like congratulations, you are so brave. Because I know when you first look at them, they can look a little bit complicated. So you've got it's all decorated on this side, ready for your photos, ready for your journaling, ready for your embellishing. And there's some embellishments in each of the paper pads that make it very easy to go back. And with the border dies that I'm using, makes it super easy to add some extra borders and embellishments too if you like. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and pop this is a 6 inch by 6 inch cut again. Apiona, you said this is your first time and you are from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Welcome, girl. That is so awesome. I know we have crafters from all over the world. We have had hundreds of crafters register for the class. Some are able to take it live, some are not. Now, I have to say, like when you see us post classes, it is best if you purchase the live classes, even if you cannot watch them live. And this is why. When you take initiative and you purchase those live classes, you get a $15 coupon that you can use to get products. And that is something that's not offered with our pre-recorded classes. It's a special bonus we offer to live viewers. Plus, during the live classes, I oftentimes do like specials and give you guys some extra special benefits that are often expired by the time the pre-record starts, or it expires in a couple days. So at the very end, I've got some special things for you. We're going to see some more albums, and we're going to have a special savings that you guys will love. I can't wait to show, but first we need to put together the album. Now I've made you really curious, right? Okay, so to accent this side, I used one of the dies from the Border Essentials. This die set I use so many times. There's so many different ways you can use it, but I'm using this piece. You just cut it out like we did on the previous one, and I just glue the outer edge. Marla, you said yes. I wish I could hear all your expressions, but I am just like visualizing you guys watching on the other end. Are you guys watching from your craft room? Tell me where you're watching from. Kenny, you said, what paper would you suggest for making a Flipfold album for a boy? I'm gonna, it depends on like what, is it a little baby boy? Okay, so we've got that, and that just closes. Isn't that beautiful? And then we have a tag that we stuck in here. If it's a baby, like a tiny baby, we have, oh man, maybe some of you would want to, oh, you said college age. Okay, that really depends on like what they're into. We have like the kind of some outdoorsy nature scenes that are very pretty. But if you go to your paper collections, you can kind of go through and see what colors. If he's like fun, he likes a lot of fun things. The Winking Frog collection, monkeying around, is fun for kids and kids at heart. So we are ready for page number 4. Okay. Billy, you said you're in your office craft room and hide out from the TV. That's awesome. For page number 4, this one is I use my paper clips to kind of keep some of these intact when I'm like showing these light, but this like slides in underneath, so you can do that. But so we'll get started. Are you guys ready for page number 4? Okay, so again, can you guys guess what we're going to add first? We're going to start with the base pages. Let me grab my pieces and we'll get started with that. So if you are doing this later, I highly recommend following the PDF and then separating it by pages, like page 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the cover I typically do last. Lynn, you said the dining room table, only place with enough room right now. That's awesome. You probably have a paper bomb going on right now, right? That's always how it looks in the classes or when I'm doing my albums at home and I'm cutting papers and all that fun stuff. So this class really is about maximizing how to get the most out of your paper, and you'll find once you've made all the cuts, you'll have some left over. So we're going to add these little cutie birds on the left-hand side of your album. These are cut 6 by 8 inches. You guys will have that ingrained in your head. You won't be able to get that measurement out because I'm saying it so much. So 6 by 8 on the left. So that is your background piece. And for this one thing that's kind of something you want to make sure you know, this is glued on top of the paper, so I add this insert after I've done the base. So I like to always plan out my inserts first so I don't accidentally glue something where I shouldn't. Okay, so there's another 6 by 8, and we are going to cover the house. This is where you can say your boo as loud as you want from your craft room. I know it's hard to cover up some of these pictures, but remember we just did a house on the previous page, so we're going to have a secret house in the back. So we're going to add this little guy on top, and when you add this one, there is a couple things that I like to cut off of this so you can alter it. And what I did to alter this one is, you see these 2 little feet, those are going to be at the bottom, and this little tab at the top, we're just going to go ahead and cut that off. So just snip, snip, snip. If you were in the previous class, you did this and you learned that, hey, it's okay to snip off some things from your inserts if you haven't done that before. And if you didn't take the class, How to Add Flipfold Inserts, I highly recommend it. We had incredibly amazing reviews of that class where ladies that thought that they could not add inserts went from that to being able to do all the inserts across 3 albums. So you've got these little guys. Okay, Cassandra, you said, would you discuss how to add pics? Yes, we can absolutely discuss how to add pics. I have an album that I'll show at the end. It's a different album, but it just starts to give you some ideas on how to add pictures. So with this one, we are going to glue this inside panel directly to the center of our album. And I kind of use what I call the eyeballing technique. So this, you have this little flap on the left. Okay, so this flap on the left, we're going to turn it the opposite direction. So when you pull it out of the packet, it's probably folded this way I just had it. So we're just going to fold that back. So this piece comes in, this piece comes over. So we're going to glue this piece down first to create a pocket. So I'm going to just add glue here. Now this part's a little bit confusing, so just bear with me a little bit. So just take your blue piece and just lay it right across the top of this, and it overhangs. Now you'll see that this piece down here is still sticking out, so just go ahead and fold that up. It's going up towards the back, and then you'll have that tab at the bottom that you can just glue up over that piece. Now if you're not doing this with the video at this point, that may look a little bit confusing, but basically you're just overlap it to the first one. Lynn, you said, you mean we have to add photos? It's almost too pretty to cover up. I know, sometimes it's a little bit hard to add photos. If you go to our website after the class is over, there's a link for the Flipfold album pages, and I have some videos where I also showed some albums in there with some photos too. So that gives you some different ideas with it as well. But oftentimes I just add a bunch of photos into pockets. Like in here, if I'd be doing photos, I would add a large 4x6 photo in the center and then just slip some photos, like maybe 3 photos on this side and 3 photos on this side. So you can definitely do that. Okay, so we have created this pocket on the outside. So that is all done. And for these insides, we're going to decorate the centers first. So we're going to go ahead. These little girls are going to get covered up by the pockets. So if you don't want to do that, you could cut your pockets off at the bottom. It's totally up to you. This is a 4x6 section. So this Flipfold insert, I forgot to tell you where it came from. This comes from Flipfold insert D. D as in dog. So just go ahead. But this is a perfect insert to add a lot of 4x6 photos. The house piece I put in the center. This is also cut 4x6. But I oftentimes crop my photos too. I am actually right in the moment busy scrapbooking some photos from a vacation that we took, and I'm doing it with a cut mat create, but then some of my very special photos I'll do into the Flipfold albums. Okay, then we're going to go back and add this piece to the right side. Veronica, you said you have to use these albums for photos. You don't. I always say creativity has no limits. You can use these albums however you like. I have a lot of crafters. They just love to use them for inspiration. I have crafters that use these for journaling. You can write down, like if you can, there's 6 pages, so you could do one for each month. Do something that inspires you. I'd love to hear some of your different ideas of what you're going to do with them. That would be so much fun. My mom does a lot of journaling, and she has a journal that she just adds her own creative writing to it. So if you're into creative journaling, you could totally do that with these albums. So we'll just add these pockets up. Did you see how I just glued the edges? Karen, you said might be a keepsake for a cookbook. Absolutely. I have, that would be brilliant, putting some family heirloom recipes in it. And we're just going to add a little bit of glue on each side on the opposite one as well. Oops. I went in a little bit further. The beauty of this glue is you can easily brush it off, which is so nice. Hold that for just a little bit. I love how you guys are just like so interactive and giving each other ideas. I always say crafters are the best. I love hanging out with you guys. Okay, so love hanging out with you. I was so excited for this class yesterday. I couldn't wait. So this piece is cut 1 3/4 by 3 7/8. I have a flap that is trying to come up a little bit. When I close this, it should go back down again. There we squeeze it. It just wants a little bit extra love, a little bit extra squeeze. Do this on each side. Clip that in. Oops. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to close that. Oh, Veronica, you are so sweet. Okay. Going to add this one on the piece over here. You know, I just posted on Facebook recently. I get asked a lot, Emmylou, do you ever get tired of crafting if you also do this professionally? And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, creativity just does something deep inside you. It refreshes your soul. It gives you renewed energy to go out and face the everyday things that you're struggling with, or the cares and the pressures. Say you have a family member that's sick, or something's not going okay on your job, or just all the hoopla that can happen, even technical difficulties where internet connection crashes. This is so fun, very relaxing. You kind of forget about things like that when you're in the midst of crafting. So this piece is perfect to just pop behind this pocket and slide in. Billy, you said you're going to do an Under the Sea album with your family, beach photos. That is brilliant. I have had so many people that have done Under the Sea albums, and those are some of my favorites. They are so beautiful. Here is a little piece that I added on the inside pocket as a journaling. You could add your photos if you like. You can do a lot of fun things with that. You can, to decorate this outer edge, You could take this border die. This is another real pretty one that I use a lot with my albums. It's from the Regal Border and Pocket set. It's this one here at the bottom. What you'll do is just go ahead and just add a little bit of glue along the straight edge. And then I'm going to lay this one this direction so it's not hanging off the album. My original, I had it hanging the other direction and it kind of dinged up a little bit more, kind of got bent out of shape. So I'll add this little border. This is a very narrow border. It's probably like 1/2 inches. And just glue this one right on top. Isn't that perfect? Donna, you said how do you cut the centers out of the frames? The frames, like the ovals and the circles, those coordinate with your basic circle and oval dies. Spellbinders has some. Here's a secret, none of you knows this. We are coming out with some later in August. That is like top secret, so I'm sure you guys are good keeping secrets. Don't tell anybody I told you that. My in-house team's probably like, Emily, you just spilled the beans. You're not supposed to say that. I'm sorry, I'm kind of bad at keeping secrets. So if you guys are super, if you guys are super quiet, you guys can keep it a secret. Are you guys good with keeping secrets? I know that sometimes I'm not. I'm just like so excited. I just added glue to each end of this die. That's the one we had cut out earlier. Do that double scallop at the top. And then you can go ahead and slide in like a 5x7 photo. Pages like this, I do focal photos. I know, Jackie, wrong place to tell a top secret. Hey, it's coming out on August 30th, so we don't have, it's August 1st, so hopefully I won't get into too much trouble, right? Okay, so you didn't hear it from me. Okay, so we are ready for page number, let's see, is this number 4? We did 1, 2, 3. No, we did 4. Goodness, we are on a roll. This is number 5. Okay, so page number 5, I am going to bring this in so you can see what we're decorating. So over here we've got a beautiful border die again that we can, I put in a journaling block, but you could again do a 5x7, 4x6 focal photo. And then here on the side we have another, I just have some pieces that are magnetized in here. But we have another flip fold. This is from B that is coming out from the side. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. Are you guys ready? Karen, you said you missed the day. Actually, it is coming out on August 30th, and there will be some other items included that are completely new, that are very exciting, but those I will keep it a secret so you guys have another surprise to look forward to. Do you guys like surprises? Oh man, I'm sorry that I have to keep some stuff just like, I'm in a room right now that is filled with so many creative secrets of things coming out. If you ever get to come to the area and do a tour, sometimes the gals that go on a tour get to see something that we're releasing soon, so that's always fun. For page number 5 on the left, this again is cut 6 by 8 inches. You can again use any paper style that you like. I liked what was said about the Under the Sea. Brenda, you said I'm driving you nuts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hopefully the wait will be worth it. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and glue this down first, and with the flip fold on this one, we're also going to glue that on top of this piece. So you want to make sure you always glue down this piece before we add the flip fold. So go ahead and just glue that down. As you can see, don't spend a lot of time adding my glue. That comes from years of just adding glue very quickly. Paulette, you said we need a cat collection. Oh no. We have had so many requests for cats. We need to come out with a kitty cat collection. Actually, we are doing a company picnic tomorrow, and we have some surprise guests there as well. We're doing a Facebook Live, and we have some artists coming in from California. So we are going to do a Facebook Live, so you'll get to meet some of the artists if you're on Facebook tomorrow at 1 p.m. Okay, so we are going to glue this. The fold is on the right-hand side. So right now, this looks like a backward card. Don't worry about how it's folded on the inside at this point. Just make sure that your fold The main fold is on the right-hand side, and it looks like a card right now. This is, Ashley, that's a great question. This is from Flipfold Insert B. I'll glue this down and I'll show you which one this is. It's Flipfold Insert B, and it's this one. It's the longest one that's in there. It's 7 inches by 21 inches. So it's the one on the right-hand side. So the way that I glued it down is exactly how it comes in the packaging. I didn't do any different folding yet. So if you open this, it kind of like, we're going to do like what I call a zigzag fold. So we're going to fold the base first, pull it out, and then we're going to pull it all the way back and do that again, and you'll just continue that all the way till it's completed. Is that cool? So you have that 3-tiered look. So I'll do that again so you can say that. Hi Jessica, you said you just got here. Welcome. So we'll bring this first piece in. So it closes like a card. Everything else is hanging, got a tail hanging out the right-hand side, and you'll continue, just close it. You'll just go back and forth, back and forth. So it's kind of zigzagging. So it looks like a side step card. Okay, so to decorate this one, what are we going to do first? Any guesses? Okay, so we're going to add our magnets first. So when you do your magnets, we definitely want to make sure that this top flap is closed. So we're going to add a little bit of glue right in this section. Pop that magnet on top, and then I'm just going to go ahead and close it and bring this up, and we'll snap that last magnet. So that's like if everything's open, you have the fold on the last page. Mary Lynn, you said that you'd love to have a carnation collection. All I can say is that may be a reality later this year. We typically are working on our collections. Like right now we're working on ideas for June of 2018. So we do work pretty far ahead, but there is a carnation collection in, oh man, this is top secret. You guys, I guess, got some bonus secrets today. So you have this little spot on the left, see that? And we'll just add a little bit more glue on there. Oops. We'll make sure that this one looks like it slid a little bit. That's why I like to make sure I put tape down, but I think everything is lining up. Let's just make sure. It's going to pop up. I'm going to see if it added the, nope, the dots still remain in the same spot. So we are all good. So you can add tape over it so they don't release, or if you know that you're going to be adding paper right away, you can do that too. So the first paper we're going to add is this light green chevron. This one is cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. This insert is brilliant for adding extra decorative dies and adding your larger photos, because this is a larger insert, so this is really pretty. I did some more basic plain colored papers with light patterns on this one, so you can really add a lot of photos to this. This is cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and again you have some of these sizes are cut. We'll do multiples, and you don't have to follow this exact pattern. This is just you can do exactly how you prefer. This one's cut to 3 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so got that one in here, and this is the exact same size as the burgundy one we just glued. Barbara, you said that you can barely hear me. A little louder. Does this sound good? Are you guys hearing me okay? Goodness. Hopefully. I think, okay. Joanne, you said you love the magnets, thin but super strong. Yes, if you don't have magnets, this is the kind that works really well. It's called super strong magnets, and they're from Bottle Cap. We have them on the website. right underneath the screen, we have listed all the products that I'm using in the class. So it makes it you can easily shop for any of the items that you do not currently have. And at the end, I'll also give you a special savings coupon that you'll absolutely love. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just add this piece in next. This one was cut to 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. Yes, if you haven't used this glue, I just saw that question come through. If you haven't used this glue, this tip just screws right on the top, so you can just turn it on and off, just like turn it tight. Okay, so we have this side all decorated. Okay, some of you are saying you can hear me fine. Others say that you are having trouble hearing me. You may want to check the volumes on your computer if you're having some issues, if some of you can hear okay. Okay, so this one is the opposite direction. You'll again do this large piece with the green chevron, 4.75 inches and 6.75 inches. So tell me, have you guys had a favorite page up to this point? It's hard to choose, I find. For the next one that we're doing is 3 1/4 by 6 3/4, so that is pretty much a, on the other side, yes, Kathy, you said the tip and glue are wonderful. It is one of those go-to products that I absolutely wouldn't want to be without. It's very durable, it's extra strength, and once it's on, it's not going anywhere. So we've got this one down, got 2 little pieces at the end, and we're ready to decorate it with, I'm going to glue these 2. At the same time, these are a green and blue piece. So I'm going to add the blue piece on the outside, and then the green piece is right in the middle there. Okay, so these are all covered. Now here's where a little magic happens. I love how this just comes together. You have that closure, and then you can decorate it with the borders. So we're going to add our borders. Now on the page here on the left, I added this border to the top, and if you want to go ahead and just glue down the one side, it'll make that it's a pocket. And this comes out of the Regal Borders and Pockets dies. I used all 3 that coordinate with this die to cut this one out. This is such a beautiful, if you do the under the sea, this has kind of a shell scallop into it too. And then you can pop this piece in. Isn't that pretty? And here are some little pieces that are just extra journaling blocks that you can slide in if you like. It's totally up to you. Want to make sure that your magnet is still intact. It's kind of popped out a little bit. And then I added this leafy border. There is this leafy border die that is really pretty that comes from the Delicate Border Basics. There is a left and a right on that one. If you use both of them together, you can see, like if you pair it together like this, run it through, it will cut out a strip that looks like this, so you can go ahead and like glue that down. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, this would be so beautiful in the fall. That's such a great idea, Sue. And if you want to just glue this on the ends, it'll make that you have another little pocket that you can slip photos and journaling blocks through. So it's totally up to you if you wanted to do that. So again, we'll just add a little bit of glue on the end. And you've got that all decorated. Yes, so you can really do so much fun with that. So we are ready to decorate the inside and the back cover of the last page, number 6. And this one is using a really crazy flip and fold from Inserts D. And this is the one that has, it looks kind of square on the top and the middle. It's a 13.5 by 13 inch one. So we're going to have some fun decorating this up as well. Okay, so this one, it was attached to this side. I have one of these little pieces coming out from the other side. So we're going to open this up and we're going to decorate the base piece first. So you can see how this looks in here. We're going to decorate these 2 pieces first, and then we'll decorate this little flip fold on the side. Does that sound like a plan? Okay, so we are going to pull out those, and we'll do some of the front cover as well. The front cover is up to your creativity. The front cover is really fun to kind of go with you can do your personal decoration with that. It's a lot of fun, but I have a lot of ladies that do different themes based on their decorations in their houses and homes. So this one again is 6 by 8 inches, the measurement on the last page on the left. So we'll go ahead and just get that one glued down. So if you keep the base pages pretty simple, that allows you to add a lot of photos. And with these flips and folds, we have done albums that have had like up to 100 photos. Obviously, some of those are going to be a little bit smaller. So we're going to glue this inside the back cover. That is 6.5 by 8 3/4 inches. Okay, so we'll go ahead and attach that. Okay, so with this little fold out on the side, I had attached that before I added the paper. So you'll always want to make sure if it's coming out the side that you do that. So that makes it very nice. And when you are adding that little flip fold, what I'm going to show you real quick is how that flip and fold goes on. So you have your insert, and you have this very narrow piece. That's what glues onto the album base, and that goes on before you ever add that paper. So that's your little hinge. But to make sure that you're putting this one on correctly, just have this little square on top and the little square on the bottom, and that will get that hinged on perfectly. Okay. Kathy, you said you notice glitter on the pages. Do you put that on before you add the album or after? This album, my finished album, has glitter on it. I do that last. Otherwise, I get the glitter all over, and I do have a lot of glitter on myself right now just from handling the album. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to fold this one up, and we're going to add the magnets so that we know exactly where that one is going. So this one, it comes in folded. It gets folded in like this. So you have, I'm going to make sure all my tabs are up. They want to get folded. This top piece goes back. This piece comes forward. This piece goes up. So both of these little flaps up and down. And then you close this little square. We're going to open and close this a couple times. Okay, so now for this one, I knew I wanted to have a magnet on the very top to close that flap. And so I wasn't quite sure. Okay, so what I did is I was like, okay, I need a magnet up here to close that, but how do I get the magnet to the rest? So what I did is I added a dot of glue to this front flap. So we'll add that one first. And then I leave this outer pocket open, and you'll just flip, you'll add some glue. Can you see that okay? So we have this on this bottom square, it's closed in. We'll add some glue, and we're just going to close this by going straight up. See that? And then you've got that little dot to show you where you need to put this magnet. And you still have this piece out here. So once you've done that, you're ready to decorate. So while this is folded in like this, we're going to decorate that first. So I'm going to, my magnet just fell off. I'm going to go ahead and tape that so it doesn't fall while we're adding these last pieces. It was trying to stick to another magnet on another page. You'll find that as you get close to being finished, that sometimes they detach a little bit sooner because they're trying to attach to other magnets that are behind it. So we'll just tape the little guys in their own little jail. Okay, so we have the magnets taped in place, and we're ready to decorate it. So when we're decorating this, we're going to have everything open. Just going to pull all these flips and folds open. They look kind of scary at this point, but we are going to have some fun. Take the scariness out of decorating these. So all these little squares, what's really beautiful is the squares are cut the same size, so it makes it very easy for you. So anything that's square, it's cut the same. So we'll go ahead and start decorating this. Okay, so to get started, you can add any square, any kind that you like. But for this very top piece up here, the squares are all cut to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I use the green chevron piece and glued that on the top. Is that pretty? And then for this square on the outer edge, I used right here by the fold of the album. I use this piece right here. Patricia, you said, great class. I'm feeling sure I can follow your very clear instructions, and you are from Michigan. You are just right across the border, not too far from us, Patricia. Okay, so we're going to glue that. This is the one on the furthest left, right where the fold is. Okay. And then we're going to decorate this one. This one is another little green chevron. Anytime you want something a little bit more neutral for photos, you can use something a little bit more from the back of the sheets in our paper collections are typically more neutral. So you've got that. Okay. And then I have this narrow kind of rectangle on the side. This one's cut to 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. So go ahead and cover that little guy up. Okay. And then we've got the one flap at the top, one flap at the bottom, and then this little flap. This little flap, I did a journaling block on it, so you can go ahead and this is the flap that has the magnet on it. So it's the bottom square. That's right underneath where the hinge is in the album. Oops. So you've got that one in here. Minerva, you said, hi Minerva, it's good to see you on here. Do you glue it to the first score line or to the second? I leave a little bit of space, but pretty much up to the first score line. So there's a little, are you asking about the insert here? It's the first score line. So that leaves a little bit of a larger cushion when I'm folding these together. So, okay. We're going to glue these. This piece in here is going to be a little pocket. So if you, again, just add a little bit of glue on the sides. We're going to close that up. And then I added the little butterfly piece. That one is cut to 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. So we'll go ahead and just glue that on. And then the top piece up here, that's the only piece that is bare. Yes, I love what you guys are saying. You said customer service is the best. Tracy, Cindy, Kathy, all the girls, customer service, they love helping you. We actually were just playing with our next collection. It's coming out this morning. We had so much fun. The preview page is loading tomorrow for that. Okay, so you've got everything folded for this one. The easiest way to decorate the opposite side is just to flip everything out and just decorate this one. You don't have to worry about any right or wrong side on this one or upside down. So you can go ahead and just flip that. Sorry, I said that wrong. There is one that we are gluing upside down, and we'll do that one last, just to mix it up a little bit and make it fun for you. Okay, so for this one, we are going to grab, excuse me, we are going to grab the little diamond piece. Here we go. This is the little fellow I'm looking for. It's blue in the background. This was cut to 4 1/4. We're still working on the squares. This goes right in the center where the hinge is, and glue that one down. And then we'll go to the one that's right beside it. We'll do this one next. That's the little one with the little borders. Yes, Harlan, we have so many team members. We have our tech team. Harlan and Cassie work in business development, and they do a lot of the graphics that you see for the pages. They call, they send out thank you cards, and we have the tech team who has been brilliantly busy today making sure that everything goes smoothly. They work so incredibly hard behind the scenes. Now there is a Mary watching today that has a birthday. She's turning 69. Happy birthday, Mary. We are so glad you're joining us on your birthday. You share a birthday with my husband. My husband has a birthday today. He also works with our tech team. I think he has sweated a little bit on his birthday. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and decorate this little piece here on the outside. Okay, and then that is with a little flower pot, 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so that is all decorated, and then we have one little flap that has the magnet on top. We're going to cover that one up with a stripe. That one is cut to 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so we'll just add that, hide that little magnet, and you've got that all covered up. Just press down a little bit. And then we've got one blank. Now this one, we are going to glue it upside down. That is this house. So not only did we glue birdies and fairies upside down, we also glued a house upside down. Some of these patterns, the reason you didn't notice as much up and downs is because they were neutrals. So that also makes it nice. If you have problems with that, if you stick to neutral patterns, that will be helpful for you. So, okay, we are ready to fold this one back up again. So again, just bring it in towards the center. And you'll have this top flap going back, this blue flap going back, and then all of that gets folded. This one gets down from the front. This one slides in, and then you close this up. Now the first time you do this, it will be a little bit more bulky because it's not used to like being open and closed, and some of the score lines haven't been used as much yet. So if you wanted to, then you could add a little hinge on the top here. You could put it on the side. My original one I had put on the outside, but it kind of got caught in the open and closes. So I'm going to just glue this one on the very top. So sometimes my first one, I kind of just make sure when you glue down decorative dies that they don't get caught in the openings of closures that you're doing with your flip folds. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. So that one's just, oops, that just want to pop right off again. There we go. And then I have this border die on the top. Let me close this one from this album too. We'll do this one more time so you can do it with it. So just bring this in. You can pop this one, the top piece back. Bring this in. Actually, hang on a second. This one you can go front or back. There's so much, there's not really a right and a wrong, but here on this one I had done it in the side, but it's kind of gotten boogered up because of the closure. But here you can see how this piece just adds another little fun element on the side. And that die, oh, if you don't have this one yet, this is such a must-have. Floor Border Basics, I'm using it all the time. I use this piece and this one and just created, so it's a straight edge in one of the decorative pieces. So we're going to go ahead and just glue a little bit on the edge again. And this will go off the side a little bit, and then we'll just trim that. Whoops. Just make that go off the side. I think I needed to put my, hang on a second, I need to put some glue in just a little bit further because I'm clipping off the sides. There we go. Billy, that was such a great tip. Thank you guys for sharing your tips. That really is so helpful. Makes that we can all learn from each other. You guys are so awesome. And then I will just snip off from the edge just a little bit. Just make sure that that glue, you might want to wait till the glue is dry so it doesn't move around for you. And then you can go ahead and just glue from the top as well. Not glue, cut from the top. Okay. So you've got that. Trim from the side, and then you can go ahead and just pop this in. Woohoo! Isn't that awesome? So what is left to do once you have added that? We have the little fairy. You can pop her on the top. She just looks like she's kind of chilling out, thinking deeply. And if you add just a little bit of glue, it's totally up to you if you wanted to add that in. You can do that if you like. Linda, you said you've used Mod Podge to make it stronger. That's awesome. Okay, what I'm going to do next is we're going to work on the cover. Isn't that awesome? Mary, you said, can someone help you please? How and where do I save this so I can access it again? The way to access these is if you go to log into your account, it's just under the class section. There's a section that's My Classes, and you'll see all of your classes underneath that. And if you need help finding that, somebody can help you if you call in or email support@heartfeltcreations.us. So we are ready to decorate the front. How exciting is that? Isn't that fun? Biggest tip when you go to decorate the front of your album is you will need to make sure that you don't do it upside down. So just hold on a second and I will get my pieces. That is the biggest thing. I had a design team member that she decorated all her albums, and she said, you wouldn't believe what I did. I made a really pretty cover, and I glued everything upside down. She was horrified. So before I glue anything on the outside, I always check, make sure everything's right side up. Linda, you said that how long will the classes be on your site? The classes will be in your account for as long as you have an account with us. So you have this piece is for the outside cover. Now I typically only cut my covers to bump up to the side of the spine. It's totally up to you. But if you want to do that, the cut measuring for this is 5 1/4 by 5 3/4. And I have the same measurements for the front and the back. And I had pre-sponged these edges with nautical blue Memento ink. So I just bumped that right up to, just make sure that it's even all the way around the bottom here, the side, and the top. So you can just kind of scooch that just a little bit. And then I'll flip my back cover as well. So you can see it's very quick and easy. I have this one, I did not decorate the spine. But you can also always trim paper, decorate the spine, and if you're concerned about it, you can also, like damaging the paper on the outside, you can always cover it with like Mod Podge to kind of protect your cover. That's really pretty. And some people also add ribbon first so they can tie it shut. So if you wanted to add ribbon before you glue your cover down, absolutely do that as well. Then you're ready to decorate it. You can decorate it however you like. I took a tag from the tag sheet. I just trimmed it out, added a little ribbon, however you like. And when I'm kind of like distressing this one, I just kind of like distressed it, kind of just, I don't know, handled it a little bit, pulled it up, and I'll add a little bit of glue on the bottom and the top. The way that I'm decorating this album is a little bit more, it's quick, it's easy, and it's a little bit more simple to do, but you could do definitely very elegant and a lot of different techniques with this. Now I use the florals from the Wildwood Cottage collection. See how pretty that is? We had in the PDF told you how many cuts that you need for these, but I used 3 individual flowers like this, and then I used 2 flowers like this and a leaf. So I'm going to pull out a scrap piece of paper, and we're going to color these. Shoot, I wish I would have a plain piece of paper. Maybe actually, here we go. I'll use a cutting mat. We can just color on this. Okay, so you can see a little bit better. So the ink choices that I chose for this was the nautical blue Memento, the rouge, chalk, and bamboo leaves, but you can use whichever colors that you prefer. Okay, so can you guys, okay, here we go. Can you guys see this okay? Okay, so we're going to color this with rouge first on the inside, and then we're going to add just a little bit of the nautical blue. So I'm going to just show some of the coloring techniques pretty quickly. just around the edges. So this gives you a two-tone color that kind of reflects and picks up the colors in the background. Now, one of you said now the challenge is to use different paper collections. Like if you, like a lot of our paper collections are laid out very similarly. So if you take another paper collection and you just follow the same format with a PDF, as long as you have inserts B and D, you should be able to follow that along pretty quickly and pretty easily. But just cut out some of your base patterns first that you really, really like for the base pages, because that takes the most cardstock. So you've got that colored. We'll do a little bit of shaping. Do you gals know how to shape, or is that something that's kind of new for some of you? I'm going to clean up my desk a little bit. And get these shaped. Okay, let's see here. You guys have been so patient and so awesome, and despite of all these technical difficulties we had at the beginning, but yay, we did it. Okay, so for this one, you can use tip 6mm tip and the 3mm tip. Just go in a circular motion on the back of your flowers. I'm using 3 different sizes of the flower. You can choose whichever size you prefer. Just give a little bit of shaping in the center. For the smaller flowers, I used a smaller tip. Just gave those a little bit of shaping. The leaves, I'll use the larger tip in the stylus. Marla, you said, what is the best way to make a flower stronger after shaping? You know, if you're doing it on the outside of an album, if you coat them with crystal lacquer, that is such a great way to add a little bit of like a hardener to it. So we're going to add these flowers pretty quick and easy. We have a whole big album. It's so rewarding to have an album like this completely put together. We'll add one of these up here. I know there's a little bit of a glare on this, but we will, as soon as I've added these flowers, we'll kind of pull that apart or hold it in a different position so you can see it better. So I'll add 3 flowers just kind of clustered together. And these little pieces that have flowers and leaves, I use as an accent to just kind of go off both sides. Here you go. Can you see that? Cassandra, you said, can you add flowers on the inside? You could definitely add more flowers on the inside. You could actually do more flowers just like I did. They will get squished a little bit, but these flowers don't have as much dimension. I'm going to pull this leaf apart just a little bit. These flowers don't have as much dimension, so even if they get squished a little bit, there's enough of a gap with the spine that they don't get squished very much. So don't be afraid to add some more dimension to the center of the album as well. So you've got the dimensional spine in there. So it's made so that you can load it up and have some fun with that. So all that's left to do on this is to add your sentiment. I chose Cherish the Moment. You could choose whichever one speaks to you and goes with your theme. And you've got the album all decorated. So your next step would just be to like finish it up with more accents if you like. If you're a girl that loves to really embellish, you could also go back, add some glitter like I did. Crystal glitter is great. You can add as much or as little as you like. Stunning, isn't it? So much fun. Have fun creating more albums. I've loved hanging out with you, and I said we'd have some special things for you at the end. I just want to say this, like, I so appreciate you guys' patience with the class. We love your interaction. You guys have been so great helping each other, explaining things to each other. I know I missed some of your comments. I had some forwarded to me that I want to make sure that that I get those answered. One of you asked, it took me 5 hours to do my homework. Is that about right, or am I slow? 5 hours is normal. You are totally normal. Your first time following those directions, trying to make sense, is totally normal. Like, anytime I do something the first time, it takes me so much longer. Sometimes it's like double or triple the time once I get the hang of it. Like what you saw today, like I had this stuff pre-cut out, which made it look quicker and easier, but the truth is, like, I seriously, like, my first time. It was like trial and error and learning. So that's a great question. One of you gals asked, you have all the die, cut, mat, create dies. What dies do you use to cut out the ovals? Those you can use spellbinders, or we're coming out with them in August, that there's different sizes that you can use. Of the insert packages overall, which would accommodate using the larger photos? B is a really good one for large photos. That is my top favorite for the larger photos, because you've got the 6x6 and the larger ones. So I also said we would look at some more albums, so we'll do that in just a little bit. But for those of you that are needing to get to some other places, I wanted to just do some couple quick little announcements for you. First of all, thank you so much for taking this class, investing into yourself, and learning how to create Flipfold albums that you and your family can absolutely enjoy, have so much fun using your creativity. I have a special coupon code as a thank you for you for taking this class that you can use to shop online. The code is FREEDIE81. That is spelled F as in Frank, R, E as in Edward, E as in Edward, D as in die, IE81. So FREEDIE81, that is all one word. And it's like free spelled out, die spelled out, and then the number 8 and then 1. Tracy will put that in the comments so you can see it there. You get a free die with a $100 purchase, and it expires on August 3rd. So make sure you get those dies or crafting goodies that you don't have yet and get checked out. So that is our thank you to you. All you need to do is just like put the items in the cart that you want. Make sure there's a die in there, and once it hits $100, if you put this code in, it will deduct that $30 for you. So it's like a $30 value. So it's a free die with a purchase of $100. It expires on August 3rd, and it's code FREEDIE81. Make sure it's all together, no spaces, all lowercase. If you have any issues, make sure you contact us. We'll make sure that code gets added for you. I would love to have you send us a review on what you loved about the class, what we can do to improve your online class experience, so we can continue. Our team loves to hear from you, what we can continue to do to make it better for you. I loved hearing your reviews from the last class, and we used that feedback for this one. You can send your reviews to us at studio@heartfeltcreations.us. Anybody that sends in a review before August 3rd, actually before August 3rd midnight, will get entered for a $100 shopping spree. So make sure you get that sent in right away. I would love to hear what you learned from the class, what it did for you, what we can do to continue to improve your online class experience. So are you guys ready to see some more like ways that you can add some photos to an album? Okay, so this is a little toy pooch. This is Mia, and Winita, she works with us. She is a star behind the scenes. But this is a great way to showcase photos. Now this is a completely different album, so this is using inserts that some of the ones we may not even have used today, but this is a great way that you can see how you can, like that one flip fold, instead of gluing it down, you can add photos, do some journaling in the center, and you have a bunch of photos on the back. So if you're like a photo girl, isn't that the most adorable thing? So this is my mom with Chanel, and then this is the little doggy Mia, whose birthday they were celebrating. So we'll pop that in. This one has more embellishments with stamped images too. So this one is like a loaded. This is this one over here was just some decorative dies. So you can see, you can do a lot of. This one was just a photo that's has a tab down, so you can add extra flips and folds if you wanted to. That's just closed on the side here. You can do a lot of photos with slides. So if you bought those dies, and in those pockets, you can do a photo in the front and the back with just a little decorative die on the front. Isn't that cute? Now, for those of you that love to continue to expand your creativity and learn how to make like the flowers and how to do the Flipfold albums. We are continuing to add online classes as we hear what you love and what you'd love to learn more about. We add those classes, and one of those things that we've had huge requests for, here's another one where we have the photos that just slide into the side. We made some side pockets today, so you can do something like that. We have an online class that we just added. It's how to make roses. It's all about the roses. You can check that out. You can get registered right away so you don't miss out on your spot. But that one is happening in September. So if you click on online classes, that is our next upcoming registered class. And as a benefit for registering early, before registration ends, you get that $15 coupon. So make sure if you'd love to learn how to make roses that you get registered for that class. So here's some more, just really showing you how you can use all those decorative dies, add photos. Here's one with the pockets. We had used this pocket in the first class at the end of June. So you can see how you can just add loads of photos in the back there. There we go. Yes, some of you said yes, the coupon expires on August 3rd, yes. So just to clarify, the coupon for the free die 81 code, that expires on August 3rd. See that? See all those little photos. Isn't it fun to see how and now I'm hungry for ice cream, I know, right? Hopefully you guys have ice cream in your freezer so you can go have some ice cream after this, maybe some ice cream with a little bit of chocolate or your favorite topping. Chocolate's my favorite one, as you can tell. So here's some little photos in the pockets. So the pockets are great ways to add photos, or you can always add your big photos with decorative dies just to the main pages. Anna Marie's, you said so many great ideas. Okay, we will just pop that back in, and then this one is another beautiful way to do a cover. This was with the Ornate Botanic window die. You've got some strawberries, little birdies, and flowers on that one. So that's just another option to kind of expand your creativity. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with you. Thank you for spending your afternoon or your morning with me. It's always a pleasure. We really appreciate you being part of the Heartfelt Creations crafting community. Together, you and I inspire each other. We can create beautiful albums like this to preserve family legacies and memories and really remember those special occasions. So thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you get registered for the class happening in September where it's going to be all about the roses. Don't miss out on that. We will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.